So what are we talking about? Well, sir, we're talking about the economy. I was like, yeah, who's the most qualified for this one? It's like, well, you have these candidates, and this woman has three PhDs, and does like, okay,
You
yeah, let's hire her. Yeah,
you
let's
wouldn't be
okay.
better. You'd be like the world's better, like so much better that it's like,
And I
well,
and I and I shouldn't be president because of that. Because literally, I'm like, just hire the smart people. Hire the smart people. It's like President Pope. What did you do today? Well, I hired a bunch of smart people, and they tell me what to do, and I kind of like verify that with some other smart people that I have around me, and then they kind of modify it a little bit, and then I just go, okay, cool. So I do this a lot as president. Like that would
you have
literally
just
be my camp. Like, yep. Hmm.
yeah, well, just a smidge of humility, and you say, "Geez, other people are more qualified to give an opinion on this." Always, always, every single time. Just a humble person as president.
I
That
would
would
I
Yeah.
would
be
I would be
infinitely better.
they'd call me the turn president because they'd ask me a question. I'm like, I'd go, wow, that's a really good question. Do we have somebody who can answer that? Go ahead. Yeah, like I would just there would be like clips of that of me just going like, wow, that's a really good question. Do we have somebody here that can answer that?
I'm
I'm
not
only
qualified
qualified.
to answer that. I will ask
I'm
somebody
only
who is.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm only
like,
qualified to hire people. Like, if I
yeah.
want to treat him like a CEO, I'm only qualified to sign the budget and to hire
I would
people.
do all my presidential pressers like inside, because and there would be like bunch of people behind me, and so you'd see all like these women and men, and I'd be like, wow, that's a great question. You know, it's like the only thing they'd get me on is some BS question where it's like, sir, do you think the Denver Broncos are going to do well this
Yeah.
season?
Oh,
That's a great
I can
question.
handle this one.
Well, I tell you what, it's like, and then there's Sean Payton from the Denver Broncos sitting there, and I go, no, I got this, coach.
I got a good anecdote based on that. In the last election, this Republican, like out of state Republican, was trying to steal a Senate seat in Wisconsin. And he had this clip on social media where they're asking him, it's like, what do you think the Packers record would be? Just like, and you're supposed to, as a politician, if you're giving commentary on how the Packers are going to do in Wisconsin, they're going to win game one. They're going to win game two. He gets to the Bears and he's like, well, he picked the Bears to beat
No,
the Packers. As
no.
a
No,
politician, it's like, how can this is like
like, how would you
politician
Here's
say
here
to
would be
101.
my answer to Wisconsin. I would say, wow, that's a good question. I think my expectations are probably a little high, but I'm thinking, what, 19-0 in a Super Bowl?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
easy answer. That's what you say. Packers are going to win it all. They're not going to
They're gonna
lose. They're
they're
going to
yeah,
gonna
win
win
they're
it
going
all. They're going all the
undefeated.
way. Jordan Love is my guy.
You got
That's
this
it. That's
rich.
that's it.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying, you got this rich guy who doesn't even know that. That's how incompetent these guys are that they're running. They don't even pick the Packers over the Bears.
You
Oh,
know,
come on.
and I would say it's like, listen, as a politician, I love all states. I love the folks of Illinois. Love the food in Chicago.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
hope the Packers demolish the Bears and just like, cleanly.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be
fair
I
win.
wouldn't be
Fair.
mad at a 70-0 victory. It's fun. You
Well,
know,
that's
Yeah,
fun of Florida Rock because
it's like
sports don't matter.
it's like going into the heart of Boston, being like, I'm gonna run for the mayor of Boston and wear a fucking New York Yankees hat
Yankees. Or
and
or you
go,
say, well, I
Like,
think the Red
well,
Sox are
I
gonna
think the
lose
Red
to
Sox, yeah,
they're
we're
gonna
gonna
lose to
lose.
the Yankees because Aaron Judge is a good hitter.
Yeah, we're gonna come in last in the AL division this year. It's a rebuilding season. The
oh,
owners are taking it easy, knowing the farm system's got stuff coming up. No, you'd go, the fucking Red Sox are
yeah.
gonna do what they did back in the early 2000s, and they're gonna fucking smash the Yankees
You know.
in an undefeated, and they're just gonna fucking rock the World
Or you let
Series.
your Boston come out and you go, are you kidding me? Why would you ask me such a stupid question? Go
You get the
Sox.
fuck out of here.
Oh,
Get
Yeah,
your
go
khakis and
Sox.
go fucking throw them in the harbor.
the
Yeah.
entitlement of these rich assholes to think we turn to them for actual nuanced, you know, predictions on what the sports teams are going to do, and then they think they can trick us, like they
Right.
bullshit on everything else, like we're not going to know they're just lying through their teeth when they talk about sports. Oh, it's just something, I tell
Yeah,
you.
if you're running, it's like running for office in Philadelphia, and it's like you just what? Go Birds. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You know,
Go
They're
Steelers.
picking Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas is going to beat them this year. No.
No, it's going to Philly and go Steelers.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, man.
There goes Philly.
Yeah, you
know,
just lost the entire city. Like
Um,
it would literally be 0 votes in your favor. 0.
it
There
was
were
like, do you guys
protests
remember
in the
Elon Musk
street.
when he went up to Wisconsin and he wanted to
oh,
flex his
yeah.
political, he's
Oh,
and he's got the cheese head on, and
yeah.
he looks like a freaking jagoff. And then he hurt the Republican opponent
Yeah.
by going up there because he didn't know anything about Wisconsin. Like,
He-
That was the first sign. That was the first sign that we might get through this. That was that loss. And that was like, oh, maybe. It's like you're such an asshole.
Seriously, dude.
He looked so dumb
Oh.
too. It wasn't even that not even the fact that he's a Nazi asshole. Like he just looked stupid. He was a literal dork. Like I'm a nerd. I'm a geek and I'm a nerd. And this dude was a fucking dork. He looked like a fucking incel coming out of the woodwork with the cheese was too low.
Yeah. Couldn't even wear cheese head right.
Doing.
I swear to God, I thought he had an actual cheese head on his. Yeah, it was little jumps. It's like it was funny. Like on our last
Fish.
on our last live when you were talking about Palantir, as like I wanted to make a point. Like I'm waiting for the first dipshit billionaire to like become Mr. House from like Fallout New Vegas, where they hook themselves up into the machine, and it's like they've got like they've got the food hose and everything else, and it's just like I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for them to it's their form of immortality, and I'm just gonna be like, dude, just let him do it. Just let him do it.
The boss from Mad Max, where with like the hive of women and his like grossness, and he's like sucking in the air, and Furiosa just comes in and just fucking wrecks him. And we just need a Furiosa moment. We need someone to just Furiosa the shit out of this. Because that's what I mean. There was a bunch of gross old man pedophile looking kind of like Trumpish now, with his weird comb over and the Epstein files stored in the eagle on his head. And like, did you see that meme where they had like the nest of the Epstein files built into his hair?
Yes.
We need
nothing to see here. It's a new comb over. I just tried a new product. It's my friend Epstein. It's really white. It's this really thick material, just holding my hair in place. He told me he just came and went this one time, and I believed him. So I just gooped and gooped it.
We do need more representations, though. Just more media where, like you said, the Furiosa character just destroys. And these are clear stand-ins for all these just corrupt assholes. You don't have to name them. You just have to show corrupt assholes that are just like them, doing all the deplorable things that corrupt assholes are doing. And then watch them just all like, just get undone by some avenging angel that we need.
We just need Furiosa against Ted Cruz memes. I think.
Oh my God.
I think those would be good. Like, there hasn't been enough Ted Cruz shaming. I think we need more of that in our life.
Ted Cruz looks like he doesn't have a scintilla, like an ounce of muscle mass, and that his bones are made of like like a foam, like a semi-hardened foam gelatinous mass. Like they're not even real bones. Like there's just nothing to like if you literally were to just push him, just to kind of tap him, he just like collapse into goo. Yeah, like he's he's so spineless and so weak.
What's frustrating about him though is how effective that asshole. When you're watching him, it's like I would not want to debate that guy. He's so slimy.
How the hell does Texas vote for that kind of guy?
Why do they?
I don't know. And
how?
Like, he's not even a congressman.
Yeah.
Like
he's a senator. That's what he
like
you
is
like
the whole state has to vote for him. How do you keep
the
voting
rhetoric.
for this shithole?
That's literally my argument against Texas. Like, we're such manly man in Texas with our freaking cowboy. And I'm a native Texan, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, we got a cowboy hat. We're all men down here, blah, blah, blah. And my response to that is like, your senator's Ted Cruz.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Your
It's like,
senator runs away on vacation.
but like his debate tactics, I want to just write him down to like have strategy for defeating it because it's like the slimiest debate tactic, but it functions really well. I don't know if it's because Americans are so ignorant that he's able to get away with that shit, but it's just like, how would you just undo him? And like, well, actually, you know who beat him was Tucker Carlson made him look like a fool. And it was like I'm sitting there watching this like my brain because I absolutely despise Tucker, but it's just like I do appreciate seeing Ted Cruz get spanked.
Ted Cruz is the kind of guy who, when he's having a barbecue, his grill's under the shade, and he grabs it, and like he grabs the part that's not like the handle, and it's too warm for him, and he goes in the house and runs his hand into cold water, and his wife has to finish up cooking the food. That's like that is how unmanly Ted Cruz is, right?
Ted Cruz is like I envision him as the fat people or like the fat bodied people and tiny boned people that you get in Wall-E when you've been in space for so long.
Yes.
Where you're just no nothing. They're just lazy piece of shit floating on his chair, running away from everything and not ready to be like you said, he's the type of guy who takes his steak and cooks it well done and calls it tasty and says there's more flavor when you get out all the juices.
Yeah. Ted Cruz is the guy who has ranch with his quesadilla, and he pronounces it quesadilla. So he has a cup of ranch, and he gets mad that the server didn't bring him his cup of ranch, and his wife has to calm him down. And while you're trying to enjoy your meal, you hear out of the corner of your eye, but they didn't bring I can't have my quesadilla until I get my ranch. You know that.
You know what he is?
The mayonnaise is too hot.
He's so reprehensible though. Like, didn't he like leave and he left just his dog at home? And it's sort of like, imagine if you're a family man, you just leave the dog at home for like 3 and like and this dog, I think he actually was forced to come back. But imagine if you came back home and you'd insisted on leaving the dog, and your family had to see like the dog dead in the house because you just out of and this is like a person in a position of political power and that like just that act of life enduring trauma, like in his case, the dog didn't actually die, but it was just because of dumb luck. He's making decisions like this that cause that kind of agony at all times.
So what's with Republicans and like hurting
murdering
animals? Like,
pets?
yeah, like trying to murder their pets.
Yeah.
Like Kristi Noem shot her dog. Ted Cruz left his at home and lucky it didn't die. Like these people are
Because they're horrible people.
Yeah, the kids that you were like, oh, they went and killed a cat when they were growing up, and you knew they were going to be a mass murderer, but nobody said anything.
Yes.
These are those kids. Like
that's
these are those kids.
And all the people we didn't like back then that we're like, this guy, like that guy's freaking weird, man.
He's
like,
a dork.
Like look, he's the kind of guy you ditched when you were growing up, where you were just like, here comes freaking crazy Ted, man. It's like, hey guys, you want to go see a dead frog? No, Ted, I don't want to go see a dead frog. We're gonna go ride bikes at the park, bro.
He's the kid that they sold parsley to instead of marijuana. And they're like, this smokes well. And he's like, oh, that's so high from this. I'm such a stoner.
And you're just like, or he's the guy that like you're actually chilling out and you're like, all right, man, let's cut this guy a break, and you're drinking you're drinking a beer or whatever, and you're at college, and he's just like, guys, the legal drinking age is 21 on campus. I just would hate for the RA. I would hate for the RA to come and see you guys doing this.
He would break you eventually. You're trying to be nice and compassionate. He just would break you. It's just like, oh, come on.
He was that guy where I would try to be. I was like, I'd have a moment like, all right, bro, I got some beer. It's like I'm a trained killer. U.S. Marine. It's like, and I was like, bro, come on, man, have some beer. Let's chop it up. He's like, I would hate for you to get caught. All right, give me my beer back. Get the fuck out of my room, bro. Yeah.
We're not wasting out. That's alcohol abuse.
Right. It's like,
then he'd blame you for all of his problems from that point
right.
forward.
I was like, I tried to be nice to you, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to give you a rap session about how to talk to women. It's like, hey guys, how do you get the girl? What's the line? Well, first of all, you go up to them, you say, hey, what's up? And then you say, tell me name, right? And then you ask their name, and then you just say, oh, okay. And then you try to ask them questions. And if she's responsive, she's interested. If she's not, keep it moving. That's it, bro. That's all I got for you. It's the
Talk to him
basic
about his
playbook.
training orders and try to make him understand how it's his fault, but
And now, like, the entire Republican Party now is these weird freaking dudes, and they're making decisions over like the entirety of women's health.
Yeah.
That's what blows my mind. I hate that.
They're the kids who had to take the class at college, the basic level class that taught you how to shower and like have health hygiene. I was at Carnegie Mellon University. There is a freshman level class. You literally have to take for human hygiene and getting out of your rooms. It's a required course for computer science majors because they know those kids don't get out of their rooms.
That's a life-changing course. I mean,
it is.
And it's just like, and that's something at all levels in high school. If you just take somebody aside and just kind of, it's a hard thing to explain to somebody. Making it a requirement is just brilliant because then it takes this conversation. Hey, buddy,
there's no stigma.
If I didn't have that conversation, this is just required. This is just what you have to do. Boom! It's all, and it's to the benefit of all society from that point forward.
Yeah, there's no stigma around it because it's like you said, it's required. It becomes mundane. If you make it mundane to do these things, people just do them.
I wrote an article about that. It's like how to get a date. It's like number one, just don't smell bad. That's basically 80% of it. It's 80% of it. You'll get a date then, and that's it. That's the sad thing is how many people that holds back.
It is. It's really sad. Just shower.
The good thing is it's so easy to fix. If it's overcoming that kind of social stigma against just like having important conversations. And maybe once we start doing that, we can get to universal health care.
Even the prettiest dudes out there, like even the most like dudes that. Like they got the perfect jawline, like with the manicured beard, the little chin strap, like perfect hair, all the stuff coiffed, it's like got the fragrance and everything. Pales in comparison to all the stuff that women have to do, right? I've groomed up which involved getting a haircut maybe like a week early for a date.
And then like the day or two before.
It's like you get the line up, you get everything. Like I'll put some beard oil in, put some pomade in,
butter.
Like it's like I gotta break out the cologne and just kind of put a little spritz on it, and it's like that's it. I mean, it's just, and I see the beauty regimen women go through. It's like, good God,
I'll do that. That's. I mean, I'm married, so it's funny too, because like my wife and I'll do that, and she's getting ready. It's like 2 hours. She works hard to get ready. Like there's a full set of stuff that she does, and she looks beautiful after she's done. She looks beautiful before, and she looks beautiful after because I like my wife. However she wants to wear her face, if it's natural or not, great. It's my wife. She's expressing herself, but it takes her 2 fucking hours to do it.
2 hours.
Whereas I'll hop in the shower. I'll put on a shirt. I'll spritz like 3 spritzers of cologne. I'll put some beard oil and beard butter, and I'll make sure I'm trimmed up a little. I might even use my fingers to brush my hair.
Right.
And
I'll actually drag a comb through it. I'll drag a comb through it.
I sometimes do that.
I
do that finger thing because I got the hair that's receding.
I'll get the pomade, and I might do a little pump, like, a little pompadour kind of action going on, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, but then, when I was married, I got the woman here and she's getting ready, right? It's like, it sounds like a damn auto shop in there, man. You know what I mean? It's like when you hear is that a power tool? Like, what the hell's going on in there? You know
what? You're tapping into stuff that's really important here because but this all fits into like the toxicity of the patriarchy where men feel like they're like being they feel they're not allowed to even be attractive. A lot of times that's kind of underlying this.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta be out in the field, I gotta be pouring oil on my head, changing and they got to look like crap all the time. And so you have to overcome that. And it's like, because self-care, like making yourself look, I have trouble with it too. Like even getting ready for a wedding or something, I feel really uncomfortable. And you have to get over that. People are like,
it took me forever to get over that too. Like
that's the
I
crazy
use
part, man.
skincare every day now because of shit like that. Like I learned to take care of myself because I was like, hey, my wife does it and she looks great and she's taking care of her skin and maybe I should do it too.
It's like how dare
fucking easy.
How dare women have standards for men? Like, it's
How
like where it's like, hey,
dare
I kind of
men
want
go
you to
into
just
Ulta.
I don't want you to smell like a field of horse shit.
Well, yeah.
It's like,
grease on your hands and under your fingernails. And
but when I was growing up, if you came to school too pretty, you're going to get the shit kicked out of you as a boy. And that's that rural, like we were talking about before, that's that rural area. You're in a farm area. Oh, what the hell's wrong with you, pretty boy? You get the crap. So then you come to school dirty, so you're not attacked. And that becomes that's not your choice. That's pushed upon you. But then you think it's your choice because you think I'm safe, like looking, like I'm homeless all the time. And it's like, it's self-care. Because my wife will say too, this is like her routine, where her beauty routine, same thing, but that's like putting on your armor to face the day. I'm ready now and I can go, and there's relief in that, and a lot of men just don't, you have the choice to tap into that too.
But then they elect, and this is what's crazy. They elect the fool that does bronzer, that has that eagle's nest rug.
Oh, that guy. 5 hours of makeup every morning. Yeah, that looks like crap.
No one told him that
the fool that had to install a makeup booth and studio into the Pentagon.
Yeah. He's got the tie. He got the red tie that they stole from the Flag Corps. Because it goes down to his freaking, to his innie. His
the micro.
Yeah, his micro, his micro
Getting
machine,
that microscope out,
his nubbin, his old nubbin. And it's just like I look at that and I'm just like, my
God. They're so
quippy
on the right because they hit a contradiction every 3 seconds. So then they get this cognitive dissonance shakes. Oh, that's the right. They get
and it's like, so I'm at the age now where it's like I get 3 things on YouTube, right? So like that are marketed to me. I get this one that's going through, where it's another bro kind of masculine course where it's like this guy, if you make over 150,000 a year and you want to get shredded, like I've got the program that's going to get you shredded and be alpha. It's like, okay, all right, there's that. And then the other one is in the corner. I always get the banners of like, like women from other place in the world want to meet, middle-aged single American men, right? Stable, right? Or whatever. And so there's that. I get the mail order bride stuff. And then the other one is I get the ED pill stuff from like the young women who are just like, it's like, I love a good hard man that can satisfy me for a long time. And I'm just like, wow. I'm like, is this where I'm at? Is this what you have to sell me, American culture? Where's the knowledge? Where's the wisdom?
Yeah.
Where is anything but all this superficial patriarchal bullshit? Huh?
Yep. It's like how when you drive down the highway, there's no healthy food options. There's just junk right next to the highway. To find something healthy, you got to look for it.
It's like I could get. Okay. So you're gonna put me on. It's like, well, first you need to get on TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. We got to get your gear up, bro, and you got to freaking work in the gym, bro, so your heart can pop in like 5 years. Like, fantastic. It's like then we're gonna get a woman from in a bad strait from another country who's not gonna back talk because God knows you can't even get your own women in your own country, And then it's like, and because I'm doing all the roids and I'm doing everything else, is like my dick's not going to work anymore. So now I need an ED pill, and sold
you got acne, so you need to figure out the acne cream now too.
It's like, fuck, dude, is this what manhood is? This is what manhood is. So I got Ted Cruz, or I got Pete Hegseth, or I got roid freaking middle-aged freaking guy who's like going on a rant about how feminism ruined his marriage. Like, that's what I have. that's what you're going to sell me, man, go to hell. I don't want any of that. I don't want none of it.
No,
You know, so sorry,
no, it's not
we
fake.
haven't talked about gerrymandering yet, but it's like, it's the sorry ass state of masculinity in this country that's driving me up a freaking wall. Like,
well,
So
you guys came in hot.
let's
You guys came in
transition
hot. I
into
feel
it.
like I came to the bar and you guys have already been sitting there for 20. I'm like, okay, I gotta catch up with you guys.
So
that's what it
let's
is, man. It's
transition.
just, it's like,
Let's do
you
it, Fred.
raised me to be a free. Like, look, man, you raised me to be patriotic. When you had my ass standing out in front of the class saying, you know, freedom and justice for all, that's what I want. You had me, you turned me into a freaking, a smart killer. That's what you turned me
Mm-hmm.
into. I was
Yeah, you got to
educated.
go
I
to
read the
school.
Greeks, man. I read the Greeks. I read Herodotus. I've read,
Yeah.
you know, Seneca. I've read Epictetus. I've read Archimedes. I've read Thomas Aquinas. I've read Kant. I've read it all. You know, I got educated. You know, it's like I got educated and I was motivated. And you want to turn me into some pill popping, roided out dipshit that can't get no woman in his own
Nope.
fucking country? What the hell have you done to my masculinity, goddammit?
Yeah. I think they
Neutered it.
assigned us all those texts expecting us to fail, you know, and then they could hold us again. It's like, well, you weren't able to read these things. Like, all I did was study and learn the things that you put in front of me. And now you're telling me, it's like you told me to go to school. Now you're telling me evolution isn't real and that climate change isn't real. It's just sort of like, and that's what you're saying, the cognitive dissonance. I guess some people just surrender and then they're like, let's go to basting meats and eating the meat.
And
You
so
know?
then let's talk about it as a manhood thing. Let's get into the gerrymandering because
Oh,
it's a weak ass,
oh man.
unmanly tactic that they are trying to do for undermining the Constitution, literally
Yes.
undermining the
But at this
Constitution.
point,
It is an underhanded, weak bullshit move. And they're trying to arrest people for doing a duty, doing a service to their people. The Texas Democrats are not running or fleeing. They're doing a service to the Texas,
but I really
to
want.
all of Texans.
I'm on the side though. I want all because the Republicans have gerrymandered everything they can gerrymander. Everything.
Yeah.
And at this, it's like, look, they have established this is the norm. They've done it. It's time for the Democrats to be like, well, we'll just hold ourselves to fair districts and let the Republicans gerrymander. No, we got to hit back. We have to overcome the cheating that they're doing. We can't just like say, tisk, tisk, tisk. Look
It's
at how
cheating.
the Republicans cheat. It's like, motherfucker, you guys have the power. We've elected you. Give us the representation the people want. They got to gerrymander the hell out of the blue states.
That's the whole weak part too, is it's cheating. They're cheating. They're so weak. They're so ineffective that they know they cannot win on ideas because progressive ideas are just fucking better. I'm not ashamed to say progressive ideas are better because they are.
It's because, I mean, look who they got. Like Texas, they got that Smucker's ass jellyfish masquerading as a man named Ted Cruz.
Yeah,
you know?
And that's the masquerade of weakness. Like they've taken manliness and made it performative weakness. They all bow. And this is why I call them testicles and this is why I'm glad that people have been pushing back on the use of using words that are associated with women. Now I won't even say what it was because it doesn't even matter anymore because these men are testicles. They're soft, weak, and they hang out near an asshole all the time that fucking stinks. And this asshole has a big orange mouth that bloviates and just spews shit. And they just get covered in it. And that's what they're doing. And we have to expose them for weak testicles. A vagina pushes out a fucking
dude.
baby.
I'm not tough. I'm not tough enough to be a woman.
Crush with your hand.
Oh man, no.
I'm
not tough enough. I'm not tough enough to be a woman, man. No. Hey, real talk. I'm not tough enough to be a woman, man. You bleed like what? At once every 28,
at least
30
once
days.
A month.
You gotta carry a child and all the hormone stuff, and then push it out and everything else. It's like, it'll put me off.
To be a parent to an adult male too. Like
it'll put me off for an hour. Like it'll put me off for a day if I get a paper cut. If I stub my toe, it's like my whole morning's shot. You know?
I get sick. I'm in bed and I'm like, oh
my God,
please love me. Whereas my wife, she gets sick. She's like fucking doing shit all day. She's like, what the fuck is wrong with your
That's the one thing that I will say that women don't understand. Man flu, because we're not built to be tough like y'all. Man flu will lay your ass down.
We're weak.
You know,
But
I mean, it's like I'd rather get punched in the face than have man flu.
Yeah, I'd rather get kicked in the balls than have fucking man flu.
No, God, no. I don't want. Man, when I realized it's like you biologically, it's like, man, I got to deal with cramps. I got to deal with menstruation cycle. I got to have baby. Boy, I dodged the bullet on that one.
Yeah, boy, my life is easy. All I have is this stupid thing that hangs between my legs, and people get pissed off if you show it.
Oh,
and that's it. That's all you have to remember is just don't show your stupid shit.
And it's only been recently, well, within the last 20, 30 years or whatever, that it's common to have men be in the delivery room. So you see the reality of childbirth. And that's another thing that changes your perspective. That was another.
Real
I was
quick.
bursting into tears at the end. And just like the stress of it, I was just crying. And it was just, and the doctor, like the nurses are asking me, and it's like, are you going to pass out, like at the sight of blood? This is the kind of, they're worried more about me falling and hitting my head than my wife. And I'm just like, well, I don't think so, but I don't need to be tough and say no. It's like, I guess I don't really know.
Well, that's honestly where if I were to have a child, I'm more traditional in that respect. You can find me at the bar. You got again, it's that over the shoulder.
You better be in that fucking room, sir.
No. They got the medical professionals, the experts are in there. I'll be like, hey, baby, I got you the best. They're going to handle it. I don't want to be in the way. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to get out their way, and I'm going to go to the bar.
You got to be in the room, not just for support, because ain't nobody else going to take pictures. Like, the one thing that I remembered to do.
I'll get a photographer, bro. I'll get a photographer.
No.
I made sure that after my wife gave birth to take pictures of her holding our son brand new, as best I could, because nobody else is going to take those pictures and nobody else is going to remember that moment.
I'm going to hire
if we don't do it.
I'm going to hire a Gen Z social media manager, and they're going to take it, and I'll be the first one to heart that shit. I'm going to put on notifications. I'm going to be like, oh my God, that's my child. Let me go ahead and finish up this drink. I'll be right over.
I'm going to restack this real quick.
No, don't do that. Come on, you're winning points for yourself.
I'm going to go live on Substack right now.
It's like, it's like, oh, awesome. I'm on my way. It's just like, and then 20 minutes later, it's like, where are you? It's like, I'm on my way. I'm 15 minutes away. And I'm
getting Taco Bell. I'm still
at the bar.
You want a Taco Bell? Yeah. I'm getting Taco Bell.
Baby, I'm on the way. I'm 15 minutes away. I ain't moved from the stool. I'll be looking at my buddy. I'll be looking at my boy. Like, anyway, what was he talking about? So, oh yeah, Broncos.
I think you want to see. Packers are gonna, picking the Packers over the Bears.
I need to go smoke a cigarette. We'll be back. Let's go do this, guys.
It's like, baby, I'm on the way. I got you a cigar and I got a little chair root for the baby. It's like, there we go. It's like, we're gonna bring it into the world the right way now.
Father down the delivery room. That changes you, that moment. And the fact that our society has only recently started doing that is
that's crazy, right? Yeah, it's crazy. It's just
did they hand you to cut the umbilical cord? I was kind of like what Fred was like, I'm gonna leave it to the pros, but the doctor's like, here you go. And that is kind of a moment. It's sort of like shit. Because it's like, okay, because that's the only thing about fatherhood is it's like you're there, you're supporting your wife, you're feeling the baby kick, but it's not the same as actually having it, inside you. And sort of like when that moment, that birth happened, it's like, and you were committed to the moment. It's still not real and that moment of cutting that cord, I am appreciative for that because it's like, okay, I got a responsibility now. Click, and then it's just being participate. And you knew, but then the difference between knowing and then knowing it in your heart, and it's like, okay, I'm fully committed now.
See, I might do that. I might be down with the cutting of the umbilical cord. I'll just pull out my K-bar and just there it is.
Yeah, no,
just tie it in a neat little. Just tie
it's like it is.
We'll do a square knot from the Boy Scouts.
No,
it's like it's like, all right, baby, stifle all that hollering. You got to get on. Let's get online.
We're getting to work now. We're going.
Yeah, we're ready to train.
Substack in 20 minutes.
Ready to train. Day one dropped in the world. We're training.
Your head. Yeah. No.
We're training. It's like we're gonna learn this object permanence. You're gonna get these autonomic functions ready to go.
Nope.
Come on now.
I remember one of the first fights my wife and I really ever had. It was about our son. It was so funny now looking back on it. Was I snored at night? I still do. I have sleep apnea, so I snore a lot.
Yeah.
But it was undiagnosed at the time, and our son was sleeping in bed with us. And because it was 2 a.m. We had been going for like 2 weeks without sleep for more than an
Yeah.
hour or two at a time.
Yeah.
What we didn't realize was I was waking our son up at night because I was snoring. So he would wake up and then my wife would have to deal with him, or I would occasionally get up, but it's typically your wife and the mom who gets up most of the time because biologically she's going to respond a lot quicker than you are
Yeah.
as a male. She's hardwired to do that because it's her young, it's her baby, it's her offspring. It's kind of yours, it's 1% of the work for like 80% of the credit half the time. It's
Yeah.
unfair how much
And
we get in waste.
I had to prove myself because it's like
Hmm.
it's like I had to prove that I could be a good caregiver through example by actually modeling it, showing it. But it's
Yeah,
sort of like that protective maternal instinct. It's like, but then she's on the point of collapse, and it's like, honey,
yeah,
seriously, it's like I want trying to be gentle here and respecting your needs, but you need to take a nap, and let me just take the
yeah.
baby now. And then
So so
it starts kind of happening naturally.
So
Yeah.
we got into a fight over it because it was in the middle of the night. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. He had set, our son was near the age where we were getting ready to put him in his own room.
Yeah.
Well, so he wasn't sleeping, and it was like 2 fucking weeks that we had been doing this. And she got up. She's like, he's not sleeping. He's crying. I was like, I'm putting him in his room. I'm putting him in his room right now. She was like, but what if he dies? I was like, he's not going to die. He's not going to die, but I'm going to if we don't. And
Wow.
so I put him up there and I put him down and he went to sleep.
Yeah.
And my wife fell asleep before I even got back down to the room. We got up the next morning after like 4 to 6 hours. Everybody slept. I
Yeah.
got up in the morning and I looked at her. I got our son up and I looked at her. Once she woke up, I was like, and did he die? And she was like, no, I guess he's in his room now. It's like, I won one argument and it was the only argument I ever needed to win
Well.
was because I was like, he's not dying, but I am.
Well.
I'm
Right.
dying because you're going to murder me here soon.
Well, when you're so sleep deprived, you can't think clearly. So it's just sort of like,
Yeah.
and just exacerbating it. That's why it would be nice because we don't really have the support from other generations like previous generations had, where grandma would just come over and help because
Midwives and
everybody's
things
got
aren't,
to work till they die now. And that's
yeah,
just
and
another thing
midwives
nobody
aren't as
says.
prevalent.
I'm sorry.
Midwives
Midwives.
aren't as
Yeah.
prevalent, so you don't have support structures, like you said, around you
Well,
it's a
they've made that
community. It takes a
illegal.
community.
And like having midwives be illegal so that it's just so that we have to pay absorbent or ridiculous healthcare costs because you can't just have somebody who knows what they're doing anymore. That's the healthcare industry had to shut that down. They shut down
Yep.
like more affordable drugs too, because everything's got to be just like an obscene level of profit. And this is another thing that nobody ever talks about. Like the midwifery thing can be done safely. It's been done safely for a long time. But yeah, they're facing legal repercussions, so they're afraid to even do that.
But this is why, like, see, because of everything I'm hearing, this is why I'm an ally to women. I haven't subjected any woman to this stuff. Like
Well,
like like I mean, so I mean, you can't put the blame on me now. That's yeah, no, I ain't I mean, like pregnancy, all that. I ain't done that to nobody. So it's like so. All I'm saying is, ladies of the world, you're welcome.
you're welcome. Yeah.
Our
But the
friends
other
here
part
for
of it is
y'all.
though, like keeping men separate too. Like you're out of the delivery room, so you just don't know. Like there's whole generations that have no because my grandma even said she never saw her husband hold the baby. Like they never even did it.
Damn.
So, like just this complete lack of awareness. And that's just like one generation ago of the reality of just human life. Men have been, insulated from not like anything that's on that side. So that's why, we got the ridiculous what's the representation in government right now? How many women even have seats of power in the Senate and Congress? It's
Uh-huh.
not
It's like
enough.
Well,
if
it's crazy because like they had an article. I was like, it was like written a few years ago. I can't remember what it was in, but they're saying like millennial men are struggling with their masculine identity because they're being more present as fathers,
so
which is freaking
there ain't no
nuts to me.
struggle there. That ain't a struggle. That
Well, it's
makes
like
you
it
more
was just like
masculine.
it's like they're being perceived as too soft, and it's like for
Yeah.
being there for your
Look,
kids.
Yeah, by
Like that's
people
just
Isn't
who
being
that
a
the whole
good
never have
point?
a
dad.
healthy, people who never have a healthy relationship are perceiving us as soft for
Yeah,
having
like
healthy relationships with our
who
kids.
is saying they're soft? Like
Yeah.
that's the
Oh,
problem is like so you're being a good, emotionally connected dad. Like
yeah.
to me, that's what blew me away with this this last election is like I look at Tim Waltz and I'm like,
Oh man, that
okay,
was beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
yeah, like
great dad.
there's a model of masculinity, right?
Yeah.
That you can aspire to.
Hmm.
It's like and that's what blows me away from all that stuff where it's just like, and I don't like how we got to this crap, of this, like where you're literally cutting yourself off from your own children,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Like, and it's the idea, like when my kids were younger, a lot younger, it was the idea of hearing people say, "Oh, you're just babysitting. Dad's babysitting. He's on babysitting duty."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, the fuck, I'm not. These are my kids. I'm
Yep.
raising my children. I'm watching my kids. I'm parenting my children.
Yep.
Don't tell me that I'm babysitting my own kids. Like, and that's part of the problem is men tell other men that they're babysitting their children, and
Yeah.
they make it into where you shouldn't be part of the family. Like
Right.
you're just an auxiliary piece and it's all your wife's responsibility to parent.
Yeah.
You just babysit and watch while she's not there. Well, no, I fucking parent my kids. I parent my kids a lot because I'm the one who has to show them what it's like to have a male figure in their life, to
Yeah.
be a masculine role model. And no, I haven't always been the best one, but
No,
I'm
And
nobody
learning, which
nobody is
makes
though.
me better.
well,
Yeah.
there's so
It
much
makes me better because
pressure.
I'm willing to learn.
And I've always been a stubborn person where I'm just like, whatever I feel pressure to do, I'm gonna do the opposite. But yeah, it's like just the pressure to not be involved. And I'm just like, no, I reading to my kids is like the greatest joy of life. I'm gonna do that every single day. And then yeah, anybody like you're saying, there you'll feel other men will pressure you like what you're talking about. And it comes back to this political representation of all these guys who are from a generation where they just never even considered going into the delivery room when the baby was
Hmm.
born. That, among all other lines, like all these outdated thoughts and gender
Yeah.
roles that are no longer applicable to our society because both parents now have to work. So
Yeah,
you have to have some sort of turn the baby over to the other person so you can have a nap. It's just like
Right.
that's gotta happen.
it's a
Or it's like
partnership.
yeah, your wife's going through probably a life-changing experience for both of you. It's like you don't want to be in the room with her, support her, like,
My
Yeah,
you
right.
know.
You
my
just gonna
God,
skip the
that,
most important moment in her
Yeah.
life.
both
Yeah,
my wife and
absolutely.
that baby might
You know.
die. That's terrifying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what happens if something happens during birth and you're not there? Like
Yeah.
if something I knew there could be complications. Like there's always a risk. There's not a 0% chance that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I
complications won't
I
happen.
compromise,
What would I
man.
do if I wasn't there, if my wife passed away and I wasn't there to
Yeah.
try and help her in some way or be there
Yeah.
when she was needing me
Yep.
most? Like, how do you protect someone if you're not even there for them?
Yeah. And the
Right.
men who think that they're like the most masculine, these right wing lunatics, are the ones that would absolutely refuse to take on that responsibility. And then when we talk about it, then they attack our masculinity for it's just so like that's that cognitive dissonance again. How do they even get through the day? That's why they're yeah.
Yeah, like
Well,
what am I
you
supposed to
can
teach my daughter, that abuse is okay?
Yeah.
And is that supposed
right.
to be the lessons I teach my daughter? Like that she's supposed to be abused and like not cared for? Like, no, fuck that. I want my daughter to be a strong, independent young woman who does want to have a man or woman in her life because she wants them there. But she's strong and independent, and she gonna
Yeah.
kick your ass if you tell her she's gonna be in the kitchen. And I hope she does kick your ass and kick you in the balls.
Well,
Well
the
that's
nice thing about, I mean, with technology is, dude, they have mobile wet bars. You could put a wet bar just right in the delivery room, and there you go. You're set. You
Yeah,
know.
they got those things on wheels
Yeah.
now. You go to freaking like
Put a
Tennessee
stool
and they're
right next to
riding
it.
that
It's
shit
like cheer
down
her
the
on.
street. Just
you're
put a
watching the
midwife
game.
base
You got
in the
two things
middle of
going
it.
on.
You look at her. It's just like Broncos scored again, baby. You're doing great. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah. But it's like the involvement part too is because it's like if the baby's crying, the baby's either tired or the baby needs its diaper change or baby. And if you're like never aware, you're just like stop that noise. And that's what we see in the whole Republican Party where they just make a declaration. This ain't right. Fix it. It's like your anger is not helping here. If you would take 2 seconds and understand your reality and the challenges other living creatures face, you'd realize all you have to do is something simple. It's like, let's just change the baby's diaper. Now the problem went away. You screaming didn't do anything.
And what
Yeah.
the thing I hated most about that, is because if you really think about it, the way they kind of govern their whole ideology is childish, right?
Yep,
Because
absolutely.
a child's mentality is you kick and scream, you get upset at reality, right?
Yep.
You get upset. It's like babies cry. They need emotional connection,
Yeah.
all these other things. And you going, stop that racket. It's like you are a child
Yeah.
because you do not want to accept reality that you are a parent now and that you
Hmm.
have to be there and to
Yeah.
provide an emotional connection. It's like, okay, maybe you're yelling because you don't understand how to do that. You better fucking learn.
Yeah,
You
and our
know?
Wasting
friend
energy.
Rachel in the comments pointed it out too, is that each child makes specific noises when they cry. Like different sounds mean things. And if you're not paying attention as a parent, you don't know what you're doing. Like
Yeah.
I had to learn the difference between a cry that was for food and a cry that was for hunger, or a cry that was for I'm dirty, or I'm too tight, or I don't like what's going on. You have to learn all of these things. Like I swaddled my son every day and carried him and held him. I walked around with him on me more than my wife did half the time because I wanted that bond with him, because otherwise
Yeah.
I don't make
Yeah.
that physical connection. Like
Absolutely.
you have to put yourself there to make that connection. And that's one thing wrong with America, and we haven't even touched on these types of things, is the parental leave policies. Is as
Yeah.
men, you're punished. So when I was in the army, when my son was born, my wife got months off, as she should have. She got all the
Yeah.
time she needed to recover. I got 14 days. I got 2 whole weeks. That was it. That was it. 2 weeks, 2 weeks to bond with my son before I had to go back to work full time.
Yep.
And full time in the military is not 8 hours a
Yeah.
day. It's fucking 24/7. You're on all the time. Like you get called into duties. I would have to get called into extra duty while my wife had a newborn at the house, while
Yeah.
our son was newborn, because dad only gets 14 days. Most other countries, dad and mom collectively get at least a year. Like collectively, the parents both get a full year that they can take off. That 6 months for dad, 6 months for mom, 8 months for mom, 4 months for dad, something. They get a whole year's worth of time where they actually get to bond. And part of being a father is taking the onus and taking
Yeah.
the action to bond with your child, because they ain't going to do it. They can't
Yep.
fucking move. They're a baby. Like you have to be the one going, hey, babe, or hey, love, hey, I want our kid. I want to bond with our child. And that's masculine. That's
Yep.
manly, to bond with your kid because you are being a protector. You're teaching, you're providing, you're also giving your wife space to go and rest and take
Yeah.
time for herself. You're being a good partner. And most of these men that is being taught right now, in specifically what I think in terms of like marriage culture, is men aren't being taught that marriage is a partnership. They're being taught that marriage is they are a
It,
business where you're the head of the business and everybody is your servant.
Yeah.
yeah. And I remember just having the baby sleep on me every day. Like every day you
Hmm.
need that. And it's not something like one time you have the this is a complex thing you've just taken on. You can't learn physics in 1 hour lecture. You don't have like a moment like this. And you need like those months and months. And it just you feel yourself growing and changing and becoming
Hmm.
a father just by having your baby sleep on you. And the reality of it becomes heavier and heavier on you. You absolutely, and 14 days isn't enough. You need to be there every
No.
single day. You need to read to your kids every single night. And yeah, it's a shame
And
that we have so many mechanisms in place that deliberately prevent men from doing this, which is sad and needs to be fixed.
And the
No, yeah.
biggest thing I remember from all of these is I still can look back because my wife took pictures too. And that's important, is if you take your child in a time of photography, if you take your child, your wife can then also take pictures and have records that you were part of the kid's
Yeah.
life. And it's so fun to now look back on we have an Alexa in the house. I think mine's unplugged in here. We have one in the house that has with the screen, and it does our pictures. And the pictures of when our kids were little, and there's pictures of me sleeping with our son, make me so happy because I
Yeah.
can look back and go, oh, I was a part of his life in an important way. And I did bond with him early, and I can continue bonding. And that's what we need to stop making men think that families are businesses, because
Yeah.
they're not. You're not the ruler of your house, you're a partner in your house.
Yeah, 100%.
I was going to
100%.
say too. And like this impulse where the man gets home and the baby's crying and he goes into a rage, that's a
Hmm.
waste of your resource. You're wasting your
Yeah.
resources on anger that will produce nothing. It makes things worse. And I think that's reflected in like the national debt. Like we race, the perspective of the Republicans, we'll just get mad, we'll just violently through force make people do what we want. And it just costs all this money, we get all this debt, we don't get anything for it. If instead of investing in the police, we invest in education for everybody, it's the
Hmm.
same thing, just understanding people's needs rather than sitting there getting pissed. Why isn't it the way I want? I'm going to hit you on the head.
Yep.
Doesn't work.
Just go to therapy, guys. Like all it is like it's a bunch of men that are told that we can't have feelings. So the only feeling we have is anger,
Mm,
and slightly less anger and rage,
Pretty
because
much.
men don't really understand happiness. We're not taught to understand what it really means to be happy or to express it, because you know what those emotions look like? They look soft and
yeah,
girlish and weak and
yeah,
feminine. Well, too fucking bad. I love my kids. I want to give my kids hugs. I want to give my kids a
yeah.
kiss. I want my wife to be able to give me a kiss. I don't like PDA. Like, I don't like public displays of affection, because I'm it makes me uncomfortable physically, but that's because I have a uh
Yeah.
stigma again, like autism about it, and it
Yeah.
just makes me a little uncomfortable. And my wife understands that, and she doesn't pressure me. But we love each other and we show affection because it's manly too. It's masculine to talk about it, because
Yeah.
I can be happy because now I can talk about those words, and they're not weak.
And
It
this
makes
is
me
why,
stronger because I'm happy
yeah.
right now fighting my depression. Like, I'm a depressed, anxious ridden
Oh
person, and men
yeah.
have to say that. You have to be willing to admit it, because then you can also get therapy and learn to be happy.
And that's also why there's the reluctance to engage in accountability among the right, because they don't want,
Mhm.
they consider recognizing a mistake to be weakness, and which of course is like recognizing your mistakes, taking accountability. That's the only way to be strong. That's the only
Yeah,
way to learn. That's the only way to get better, to understand what's going on in your life. There's Ben. Hi, Ben.
What's
So
up,
yeah,
Ben?
that's
But
exactly it. Like,
yeah, it's tough,
wearing
man. I
yourself up.
mean, it's trying because a lot of us are stuck in, and I think this is the thing that really is troubling for me as someone who's had to unpack a lot of this toxicity, has had to unpack a lot of these just horrible notions, that were really kind of confining and really did damage. And it's I see this and it's like they're giving younger men even worse
Yeah.
symptoms,
yeah, they
you
are.
know. And so it's like, well, there's this male loneliness epidemic, and it's because women are doing this, and it's usually kind of framed like that, right? It's like if
Yeah.
women do, it's like,
Somehow it's always not our fault.
Yeah. Well, there's
yeah,
never
and
accountability for men.
yeah, well, and it's like, guys, you know, this thing you're buying into is making you miserable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
And they're
not
taking
making
it
you
to
any happier,
they
right?
spend all their energy, their own energy, working against their interests, and then
Yep.
they don't and the only tactics they know how to do, so every time they act, they make things worse. But then they sit and do nothing, and they're not allowed to do that either because they get all jittery. And it's like the answers in this place, they refuse to even look. And our whole
Yep.
society has got, and we do have to keep unpacking it because there's so many things every day. I'm talking with people, and there's whole swaths of possibilities that as American we're trained not even to recognize. Like, oh, that's
Hmm.
a door we
100%.
can't open. It's like,
Yeah.
God, maybe nothing else is working. Maybe that door has the answer. Let's go try
Yeah.
that.
And it's
Right.
something that my friend, and now our new vet talk friend, Jacob Summers. He's a good buddy of mine from the Army. He was talking about it. He's in the gym and fitness space. He owns a gym. He's an amazing, as Trump would say, human specimen. Like he looks like Chris Evans, just a little bit stockier and shorter. Like just that's it. That's all you have to picture is Chris Evans, just a little stockier and shorter. This man is he's a strong man. He's a bodybuilder. He does competitions. He's amazing at what he does. But the thing is, he made a really good point yesterday is because it's not a savior thing. Because look at us. The three of us here are white. We're white men talking on a podcast. And a lot of people like to say, stop giving men microphones. Well, the problem with stopping giving men microphones that look like us is if we don't pick up the microphone, and Jacob said this, is if you don't pick up the microphone and you leave the space wide open, the only voice they're ever going to hear is the really bad one, is the wrong one. So we have to pick up the microphone, not because I want to save other people, not because I'm not here to save anybody. I'm here to help influence maybe and help shift opinions and shift mindsets so men can see other examples. But I'm here to fill the space because if I don't, they will. And their ideas suck. And mine don't, and ours don't. And I'm proud to say our ideas don't suck because I care about human values. I care that people have rights. I care that people are cared for and that people want to live and have the right to pursue happiness. That's a masculine trait, and we need to spread that out there because bearded men like me, I don't want women to have to walk on the other side of the road anymore for us. I don't want that to be a thing that women have to do. They're going to keep doing it. It doesn't hurt my feelings, but I don't want them to have to do it. I don't want them to feel the need to walk away from me. I want them to be able to see me again as me and not just a white face that's scary. And we can break that down by being a face in this space and stopping the manosphere from just being an unchecked garbage pit.
Yeah, and I mean, I go a step further, like I've said on other lives. When I see women walking across the street, I chase after them and say, "I'm safe! I'm safe! You don't have to run from me!"
That's what Thank you.
I carry a big sign and a stick that says "I'm safe." I have a safe stick which I beat people with.
Yeah, good. Oh boy, we just undid all the good work we did.
We just fucked it up. Damn it, Brad.
Boom, nuclear option.
There it is. No, I mean, part of it is like there were times in my life I met good men and good women, right? I met people that were there for me, that helped me. I met positive male influences, people who mentored me, people who took the time to say, hey, man, you screwing things up. This isn't one,
Yeah.
And so I kind of feel like I'm in that place now, like if you guys ever saw Home Improvement, Wilson, who was sitting behind the fence, dispensing wisdom to dumbass Tim, is like, I kind of feel like that's my role now is I'm Unc Frederick, like I'm the one that's just like, I'm trying to be that uncle that's not the crazy one that's like, well, you gotta understand, young, and this is like da-da-da-da-da. It's like patriarchy's got you doing this, this, and this, and it's got you all turned down.
I think there's the real importance too of being deferential, like as a big bearded man. If you're in a public space, if you're deferential to a woman in a position of authority, it's really important. And like, for example, a simple example is a couple years ago, my kids were on a co-ed soccer team, and the coach was my daughter's one of my daughter's friends' mom, but she knows everything about soccer. I know nothing about soccer, but she's a former college player and everything. But she's relatively short, and we're trying to coach like 15-year-old boys who are just going to be rowdy. So I would just stand there, and the coach would talk, and the boys would get rowdy, and I'd just say, boys, listen, and then turn it back over to the coach. And it's just like that backing people. It's like, she's in charge. You guys are going to be respectful to the person in charge. Then I'm back. I don't have to take over the coaching job, but it's just like you just show that moment. You're like, this is how it's going to be. And then it goes a long way. And so that's the allyship we need. You're not taking over, but you're helping, pave the way.
But I mean, and it's you have to say things that are for women are readily apparent, but for a lot of men they don't come at is like women are people, right? And that
Well,
and that may sound trite and a cliche and stupid, but the thing is, like when you expound on that, where it's like the problem is, man, is what you've been conditioned as young men to think of women as things, as possessions, as prizes to be won, things to be conquered. You don't treat them like people because the thing is, like it's like, well, this one chick I went out with on a date, she was horrible. She did this, and this. It's like,
yeah.
right, because she's an unhealed, maybe broken human being. That's not representative of all women, right?
Well, that
And
echo
so,
chamber
and
too.
then you lead them down the path. And you go, all right, well, did you misinterpret what she was saying? Is there another way of looking at it? Was there something you did, right? What did you do on this
Yeah,
outing that may have led her to do X, Y, and Z, right?
It's
And
accountability.
accountability is the key, I think. Yeah, that's what
right,
we're
It's
and
teaching.
teaching men that there's accountability in our actions and that actions have consequences, both good and bad. There are good consequences to good actions. Like that's not a bad action sometimes. Like take good actions, like they're good consequences.
right,
And you just have to teach men really it's it's not you have to, it's we as men are
Yeah,
teaching other men. I'm not asking somebody else to come into this space and teach men to be men. I'm going to be a man and teach other men to be men because that's my job. It's not a woman's job to have to come into this space. It's not a black man's job to have to come into this space and tell white men that they need to behave. It's my
right.
job to tell that because it's my space and my privilege to say it. So I'm going to use it and then I'm going to uplift the other voices that are doing in their spaces so that
yeah,
all of them get the voices that they need. There's a reason why we have diverse guests when we do things. It's not just three white dudes talking all the time
Well,
no,
on these shows.
and a lot of it is, man, is like so. If it's especially important for if you're an older man, talk to younger men, right?
Yes.
Is because it's going to hit different than say for a woman talking to them, because they're going to naturally see you and say, part of them is going to be like, oh, okay, well, this guy's been there and done it a little bit about what I've done. And so, and when you talk to them, especially if young men who are receptive to it, if they're not receptive to it, you're probably wasting your time. Because at best you're going to do, even if they're receptive, is planting a seed. And what I
Hmm.
found that really works is like, it's breaking down this conception of something they don't really, it's like, all right, well, I want to get married, but young women don't want to or women don't want to get married nowadays. Because I read this. It's like, okay, well, what do you think marriage is? Well, it's having a wife, right? Okay, what does that mean? Like, what does
Yeah.
having a wife mean? Like, what's a wife to you? Well, someone who's my peace. It's like, okay, well, what's that mean? You
yeah,
start like because again, part of the problem is they've been given this kind of cliches. They haven't come to this knowledge themselves, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
And so they don't understand it. They're just repeating something they
yep,
heard. They haven't
yep,
unpacked it. They haven't thought of it, right? So
yep.
it's when you start breaking it down. So, hopefully, if you use the Socratic method, you lead them to what's a wife? Well, she's my peace. What does your peace mean? Like, well, and eventually you get to, well, I just I want a woman to love me as much as I love them. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
Right.
different from sex
Hmm.
roles. That's
yep,
different from saying, well, she does the dishes and she takes care of the kids and she, no. Because you said you wanted a woman to love you as much as you love her. So the thing about it, for you to be loved, if you feel love is to feel supportive, for someone to recognize who you are, someone to help you grow, someone to be there for you in tough times, right? Yeah. Okay, you got to do that to her. So what if
It's
what if she doesn't fit this mold
yeah,
of
hmm
of the traditional wife? What if she's a go getter? What if she's this? What if she's that? Right? And you love this woman, warts and all, because we all have our warts, we all have our problems. Are you willing to be in a relationship with that woman for the long haul as you both learn and grow together?
hmm
That's marriage.
yep,
That's what that means, right? And so part of you so in essence what it means for you to be a man is being open to change in yourself and the situation you're in has to grow, and you learn, and you become. That's how you become better. And if you're not willing to do that, if you're like, well, I got it all figured out, and this is where I'm at, and I'm not moving, then you ain't gonna grow.
Yep.
You're gonna be. That's a child's mentality. That's a child's mentality.
Toxic though. Look at how many toxic role models kids have to look at. We got,
Yeah.
the current tyrant in the Oval Office treats just the worst possible role model in the world. Just his presence. Like, put
Freaking
everything
man
else
baby.
aside. Just the picture of him, the way he treats people as a model that young people will watch and have it seem normalized, it's just repugnant. And you look at things like how you say, let's teach the truth about U.S. history. And people say, well, that'll make us feel bad about yourself. Accountability makes you feel a little bad about yourself sometimes. What do you want to do? And then I always put it back to, do you want participation trophies for everything? No, you want to get better, right? That means acknowledging that you sucked and taking some responsibility for it. And so we should be able to use these contrasting Republican armies or arguments to get some progress. But it's just we have to speak.
And it's
You
not
have to.
like we have to attack their ideas either. We're not attacking them. You're not attacking the person who's coming at you. Like what Fred got down to was the Socratic method. You ask questions until you get to the root cause or the heart of it, and then you work forward from there. Fred didn't attack them. He would break down because it's brainwashing. It's patriarchy is a brainwashing system that hurts all of us. Like it's breaking down this system takes time. It takes effort, and it's going to be a lot of effort to break it down for a lot of men because it's going to take time for us to break these role models out of their psyche. And so you have to model the best behaviors you can as often as you can and as vocally as you can so that we are in the picture, that you are there.
Well, that's why it's frustrating to me how quickly they will concede the fight when they say we can't teach Black history in school, and then people just concede, and that needs to be you need to battle that, and it really is the souls of the whole country at stake if we're not willing to even. And it's like you get so much of the other side. It's just like, well, that's offending them. Well, maybe they
Yeah.
should be offended. Maybe their belief system is offensive, and it needs to be. Yeah.
Yeah, if your belief system sucks, it should be attacked. Like, we they called us snowflakes for
Yeah.
years. They used a term to describe themselves on us. They are afraid of everything. The second it gets warm, they melt away and they wash away. That's what a snowflake is. They just wash away into nothingness. But they literally took their own term and was like, "Yep, we're afraid of everything, so we're going to make you afraid of everything." And yeah, Rachel said it, fuck their feelings because sometimes you have to just get around the feelings part and just go to the heart of the problem without attacking the feelings. I don't care that they're upset when I say, "Hey, maybe you should ask yourself, are you the problem?" And they
Yeah.
get mad about it. That means they need to think about that question. Like,
Well, the thing
that's
is, like,
their problem.
I look at it like for the history thing, right? What I'll tell folks is, say you're going to buy a house, right? You're gonna go look at this house. It's like, hey, I want to know. You want to know? Do you want to know everything about the house, or do you want to just know about the living room? And you don't want to go look at the basement. You don't want to look at like the laundry room. You don't want to. It's like don't go into that corner in the kitchen. Just you just want to look at the backyard, living room, and the bedroom, right?
Yeah.
Or do you want to know everything? You want to look everything over. You want to get everything you possibly can, all the inspections, all this, all that, da da da. Right? That's why you have Black history. That's why you have women's history. For the longest time, all
Yeah.
it was rich white men. Wasn't even working class men. They were not people like me and people like Walter and Nick, we weren't important enough to remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was only rich white men. It was kings and lords and nobles. They were the only ones that moved society according to history. It
Yeah.
wasn't until about the 1960s when other voices started to get their due. And what that did was it started to paint, that's when you're like the house, you're opening the door to the basement. You're opening this, you're taking a look over here. And you might say, damn, there's some water damage down here, dude. Like, whoo, my goodness. I didn't know it was that bad.
not going to fix itself either. You know, it's only going to
Yeah,
get
and
worse.
then
it's
you have to
giving
go in and
you
fix it.
it is giving you a more complete understanding of where we've come from and why we're here. And that's all it's doing, you know. And if your ideology, you got to ask yourself, man, if it's not strong enough to
Yeah, withstand
to withstand a more complete picture, what's the utility of it?
Yeah,
Or even a
yeah,
basic
Why? And so
question.
why? So
yeah,
why would you subscribe to it? Do you like being? I mean, that's the thing. You go to the work. Do you like being lied to? Do you
yeah.
like the boss not telling you the whole picture? Do you like
Hmm.
not having a more understanding of what's going on? It's like it's just just it. Trust me, it'll be
Yeah.
fine.
If you're afraid to have your theories challenged, it's because you know they're not true. You know, if they are true, you'll withstand any assault. And Rachel wrote a comment where she said, once she reminded herself her parents enjoyed hurting her feelings, it made it easier to go no contact. And I've gone no contact with my dad as well. And it's just one of those things that and that was the thing where you're following instinct because it's just like this isn't right. I some of these behaviors that are painful have to go away. But then they're always
Yep.
blaming you. You're being so cruel. You're being so cruel. It's like I'm asking you to stop this. Well, you're
Yeah.
misinterpreting these things. I didn't intend to hurt you, so you can't blame me for it. It's like actually, if I walk away from a situation, if every time I see you, I walk away bruised and battered, doesn't matter if you intended to do it or not. What has to happen is that has to stop. And it's
Yep.
just like people get that in their head. It's like, this is the way life has to be, this misery. Like, it doesn't have to be like this. We can have better lives than this. And we just have to get away from that sense that everything's perfect. Just don't look too close, like Frederick was saying.
Somebody who is communicating to you how your actions impact them is not blame. It's
Yeah.
just communication. You
Yeah.
know? And that's the thing that, you know, look, man, I've acted like a shit heel. And I've had women and other dudes, people tell me like, you know, hey man, what you did wasn't cool. And I mean, you know, and it's, you know, I'm not perfect. I
Yeah.
have my moments that are not
Yeah.
up to what I like to carry myself. And, you know, but I don't shy away from it. I
Yeah.
don't
That's
try
the
to
key.
blame the other person. Now I may say like, well, I was trying to do this or da da da. But at the end of the day, it's like, hey, this is how it impacted me. It's like I gotta take that into consideration, man. I can say, well, I didn't mean to do that. It's like, yeah, but it did. It's like, I'm sorry. I didn't look, that's not my intention. I'm sorry that impacted you that way. You
It's
know.
the old Yoda saying of do or do not, there is no try.
Yeah.
Like you do the action or you don't do the action. It doesn't matter if you tried to hurt someone's
Yeah.
feelings in the process or something like that. If you did it happened. Do or do not. There is
Yeah.
no try. Like you either do the thing or you don't. And you have to be willing to learn from it. And that's the key is did you do it on accident or did you do it maliciously? And then were you willing to look inward and go, huh, maybe I
I
did
you
something
see, I
wrong.
like people that I had a horrible like people I've had toxic relationships that I've gotten away from. You know, let's say something like, "Well, you think I'm a bad person?" It's like it's not about me thinking whether you're a bad person. Do you
Yeah.
do more bad actions than good actions?
Hmm.
That's really boils down to is like if you do more good actions on the whole than you do as a as bad, you're a good person,
Yeah.
right? If you do more bad actions on the whole, you're a bad person, you
Yeah.
know? Now, the good news is you can always change and start doing more
Yeah.
good actions in the aggregate and become a good person. I think a
Yep.
lot of it is we get hung up on this, you know, like, well, I think I'm a good person and I don't want you saying
Well,
I'm a bad person. So if you
yeah.
blame me, then that makes me think I'm a bad person. It's
Yeah.
like, no, man, it doesn't.
Yeah.
That is a completely superfluous freaking question. It literally does not matter whether you are a good person, a bad person. That's a fixed state. We're talking about these actions that you've done to someone else, and they were not. There were whether your intention was good or not.
Yeah.
This is how they impacted this person. You have to take accountability for that. You got to
Yep.
own that. You know, it's like I never set out when I was a young man
Yeah. Nobody
to
does.
hurt women.
Yeah.
I never set out to do that. I didn't sit
Yeah.
here and go, you know what, man?
Nobody does.
Man, I can't wait to hurt some women today,
Yeah.
bro. It's like, ooh, I'm gonna take it to them. It's like, no, it was the culture I was raised in that told me it's like I could treat women like things. I could fuck them and forget them. I didn't have to consider their feelings. I didn't have to consider like anything. I could be an asshole, and as long as I was honest, it didn't matter about what I did.
Yep.
And
And you
that was
could even get elected president if you
right.
could.
And it's like, and again, I didn't sexually assault women. I didn't do any of that stuff. But I wasn't a good guy. I was honest, bluntly, very much so, but it didn't mean I was a good person because I never considered their feelings. It was just sex to me. They were just a thing to satisfy my lust. And when I realized that, it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
It was just like, damn.
Yeah, it takes a lot to admit
I'm a
that you did
fucking
something wrong.
I'm a piece of shit, you know?
Yeah.
That's what started me to change my behavior,
And and it's like the patterns of behavior that consistently lead to pain. It's like even if you're not deliberately causing things, but if you're engaging in patterns of behavior that hurt people, and that's what's kind of hard because there's that it's the I didn't vote for this argument. And it's like, look, buddy, you're doing things that are hurting people, and it's like you need to take a step back. And there's some people though that maliciously they can get away with hurting people and then they kind of pretend as if they don't ever see that it hurts people. There's a lot of different levels there. There are cases, yeah, somebody could just make a mistake. Okay. And they rely on us and our goodwill to be like, okay, we see that as a mistake. But when the mistake happens again and again and again and again, you stop losing the power to say, "Oh, I didn't mean that." Because if you didn't mean it, it wouldn't keep happening.
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
at
because
some
you would have
point
learned
saying you're
from one of the
it was
mistakes. You
rookie.
would have finally been like, "Nope, yep, I won't do that again." It's a conscious choice to stop doing those things. Like it's love is an emotion that we're not taught. Love is something that we're not taught. You inherently know how to love. You are taught to hate people. Empathy is a tool that is
Mm.
taught. Like empathy is a tool of guiding your emotions and guarding them to a certain extent and putting limits on them where you provide your emotions outwards to other people and you learn to understand people's feelings. At least for me, empathy was taught. I needed to learn how to truly be empathetic to other people and truly embody the idea that I wanted other people to treat me the way I want to be treated. And that's where empathy comes from is you have to make that choice, just like being shitty is a choice. Like at some point you have to stop. It's the argument of, oh, like you just said, I'm sorry, you play lip service to it, but you keep doing it and you didn't learn anything. Eventually, when you learn empathy, that's the moment
Yeah.
your brain goes, I did something wrong.
Mhm.
And I don't have to beat
Yep.
myself up about it, but I can make the choice to stop doing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the key is make the choice to stop doing it. And man, it's easy. It's easy to make the choice to stop being a shitty guy.
And you get to a point where you recognize you made a mistake without being told because you see the
Yes.
pain you caused, and that's the critical thing because you can't just sit around waiting for somebody to tell you what you're doing is hurting me. You have to be able to see it
Yeah.
and then stop. It's like before it gets to be out of control and before everything builds up and falls apart. And we're just like we don't emphasize empathy enough in our society. We got
And
guys who are denouncing it.
it's about changing your habits, right? It's mentality is basically it's habits. So, you can train yourself to be empathetic. You can train yourself to be happier, right? These are emotions you can build. But it's like to your point, Walter, it's like biting your fingernails. If you don't see anything wrong with biting your fingernails and you don't care, right, then you'll keep doing it. But if you're like, you know what, this is a habit that's, it's giving me hangnails. It's done this to me. It's like it's something I want to stop.
Yeah.
How you stop it is it's going to be hard because you're going to find yourself biting your fingernails. But the moment you start realizing oh shit, I'm biting my nails, I got to stop. You know,
I
and over
come from an
time it will change. You won't feel the need to do it anymore. And it's the same thing with this patriarchal thinking stuff is when you start going down those paths, when you start going down like, it's like, well, all women are like this, like, hang on. Right.
Hmm.
Well, all women really just want to date you for money, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, well, then why did your mother take care of you? Or
yeah.
why did You know, why, like, or why did this woman that was your teacher take the extra time to show you that? It's like, so you're literally just focusing on this part of reality. And you're not taking in
Yeah.
all this, because the problem is, if you try to take in the whole, you're gonna question that supposition of that premise of all women want is money. It's like, well, but here's all the other examples in life that I have where that's not true. Maybe this is something that's not true, and
Hmm.
if that's not true, what does that mean? What does that mean for my worldview? What is that? Oh shit, man, women are people. Damn, it's like, I'm gonna get the gamut. I'm gonna get bad people who happen to be women. I'm gonna get good people who happen to be women. You know,
Yeah.
and then when you start looking at it like that, you start approaching the world differently. You start interacting with the world differently. And that's the next point where empathy comes from.
Yeah.
Because all empathy is a connection of, there's somebody who's like me, a suffering being that is in this material existence, that is struggling, that's got thoughts, emotions, fears, desires, hopes, dreams. Damn, we have more in common than we do that separates us. Because all these assholes that are in charge of us, all they want to do is separate us. They want you to notice the differences, these little bit of differences, you know. And instead of saying, they want you laser focused on that little difference, instead of going, look at all this over here. Look at all this other stuff you got in common. Look at
Yeah.
this commonality that you have
Hmm.
with women, that you have with people of color, that you have with trans folks, that you have with LGBTQ. Look at all this you have in common, this commonality of humanity. That's where you need to put your focus. And that's my stump speech, you know.
Well, I always compare it to giving up drinking, because it's like you get so focused on the intoxication and that process too. Because I quit drinking a couple years ago, and that first 3 months is a bit of a challenge, and you're in that transition process because you got all these habits built up. Oh, I'll just grab a beer, and sometimes you do it without you're trying to stop drinking, but it's like, okay, I'm gonna go grab a beer. Oh shit, get the beer out of the house. But after 3 months, it just changes, and
Yeah.
I think one of the big things is we expect people to change too quickly. It's a process that takes a while. It takes a couple months. Commitment. We have to reinforce it. We have to be supportive of people that are trying to go through this change because you get it in your head. The only thing that makes you happy is the intoxication from drinking. Then you're mad. It's like, why don't I have any time? Well, because you were drunk for 3 days on the weekend. You didn't get anything done. Why don't I have any money? Well, you spent too much money at the bar. But they don't see that because the only thing that gives them any happiness is that intoxication. And it takes a while because then once you give up that, the one thing that makes you happy, you no longer have. You still have all the misery. And until you actually completely commit to the new way of thinking, and then you start seeing harvesting the good things. But you really have to accept that that thing that seems good is deceiving you and it's the cause of all your misery. And that's why we get people that are so entrenched in these old ideas and these old thoughts because they firmly, with all their heart, they believe that this is the only way possibly forward where they can even have a chance of happiness. And it takes a couple months for them to even get to a point where they can perceive other ways are better.
It's
Yeah, and
that
if you
some it's
notice,
that's
we have to be persistent. Like what's been most persistent that we've been doing, like that's stuck? The Epstein story. Epstein has stuck
Yeah,
because it's a
can't go away.
persistent topic that every single person is constantly talking about from right to left, because there's something underneath that makes almost all of us, I'm not going to
yeah,
say all of us, almost all of us revolted
Yeah.
and brings out just rage. Just
Yep.
we're rage filled. And you're
Yep.
seeing it because people are talking about it all the time. It's always present. So if we start talking about empathy and men being able to change and have empathy and reevaluate simple situations, and instead of blaming other people for our actions. You don't even have to
People.
blame yourself. You just have to evaluate your action and say, shit, that was not a good choice. And then you fix it. And it's that simple. Man, it's really that simple. Friends, brothers, like it's that simple. We just put a little onus on ourselves and we take responsibility for our actions because, guess what? I'm a person. I'm responsible for my actions. I don't go around murdering people every day. I don't go around robbing banks. I don't go around hitting people. I don't go around doing any of those things because I have responsibility for my actions, because I have a moral compass that I stick to and an ethical compass. And we could all easily get to a very similar, at least moral compass, maybe not ethical compass, because
Yeah.
ethics is very different. We could all get to a similar moral compass where we see these things as bad, which is why you see trafficking of children and
Yeah.
sex crimes as still really bad and potent, because so many people understand that that's fucking gross and wrong.
Yeah.
But
And
we
I
also
see
need to
that.
see the good every day and
Yeah.
see how easy it is to do these things. Like, we're emotional. Fred, Walter, and I, like the three of us here, we have been emotional. We've expressed anger. We've expressed frustration. We've expressed rage. We've expressed gratitude towards each other. We also need to build up a change in the men speak,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because one of the things that we do as men to each other is we beat each other down
Yeah.
every fucking day, constantly. Men's language towards each other is abusive and violent.
Yeah.
Women uplift each other a lot. Yes, women can also be very abusive and violent towards each other. That's their business, not mine. Men are almost always violent towards each other and abusive in our language. You see it with your sons and stuff when you can't hug or can't give kisses.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
through that, I tell my friends I love them. I tell them that I care about them. I emote, I show emotions near them. I'm willing to cry if I need to. I did cry in front of my brother-in-law multiple times, and I had him hug me and hold me while I broke down in tears after I wanted to walk into a forest and disappear from suicide. He stood next to me and hugged me
Yeah.
and held me and let me talk to him and tell him how much I loved him and how much he meant to me and how much he loved me back. That held me in place,
Yeah.
because we need people, we need men who do that for each other because you care. He didn't want anything from me other than for me to stay. Like, and that was it. He opened his heart to me and I opened mine to him. And that's what you need to do. It's fun. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay to be vulnerable, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those emotions are more powerful than we are. We
Yeah.
pretend that we're tough and we're not. I've had a couple moments in life where it's just sort of like, oh, I'm not what I think I am, and I have to embrace what I really am, or I'm going to be broken by this lie, you know?
Yeah,
Or as
man.
Bobby Jones likes to say, we talk about doing leadership shit until you have to start doing leadership shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's when you come out of the woodwork and you really test yourself. And men, if you want to be a man, test yourself, test your convictions and evaluate them. And if they're wrong, change
Yeah.
them. That's manly.
And the thing, I mean, and the thing is like you got you're not always going to get. Rarely will you get thanked for doing the right thing, and you
Mhm.
don't
Yeah.
do the right thing because you want to get thanked or you want to be rewarded
Yeah.
or you trying to get, you trying to get that girl to go out with you or a woman, whatever. You do the right thing because it's the right thing
Mm.
because you want to be a person who values the right thing and who wants to be that person in the world. That's why you do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, it's because I mean, you're going to be in those moments where you do the good thing, you do the right thing, and it's like, oh, maybe it hits you in the mouth, right? Yeah,
That's
and you don't come out ahead, but you know what? Every time that's happened to me, I've carried it.
Yep.
When
the
I've done the wrong
consequences.
thing to try to get the better outcome, and it failed, or even if it succeeded, I never felt good about it.
And the consequences of doing the wrong thing are always worse. Even if doing the right thing has something that's bad, doing the wrong thing is always worse. So that's another thing to
Always.
keep in mind. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna get rolling in a minute, so I need to roll. I got another one coming up, but
All right.
gosh, you guys, holy cow! I love this
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was
conversation.
amazing.
Love the
Thanks,
two of you
guys.
guys. Good
Yeah,
work.
we started the car. I think it was the first one. It was Nick. Somebody said that lives on Substack are like therapy, and I guess we just had a
Well,
therapy
are.
session.
Well,
Yeah,
we
You
they
didn't
know,
do
are.
something
They're
on one of our
therapy for
talking
all of
points.
us.
I guess we'll have to do it again. We have to
yeah,
talk
this
about
is
goals.
like men therapy talk is what it is.
Oh, that's
It's
good.
just like
People need it. People need it. I need it too.
100%.
Yeah. I like
So
it. It keeps me motivated and keeps me
heck yeah,
going.
Helps you
gents.
level one for a few minutes.
Thank you
All right.
for thank you for your time and everyone and who's tuned in. Thank you so much. Gerrymandering is bad, but
we never actually got to. I think we said
not really. No,
like once.
Roll it back. Yeah.
Gerrymandering's
they're
bad.
Weak soy boys trying to gerrymander.
That's it. It's like we had to talk about feelings. All right. All right.
Thank you guys.
Thanks everybody. I'll catch you later.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.